Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with some of the crew today.
Dave.
Ryan.
And today, is this a viewer request or is this just
it was inspired by our viewer conversation. Someone Facebook messaged me and asked about their new DM, and they asked about what I thought of having DMs having a character within the game they're running. And my response was,
no.
Absolutely, you should do that, right?
It was actually, I'm not a fan of it, and here's why.
Yeah.
You run every freaking character in the game that is not your players. Why do you need a representation of yourself? And there's just so many ways to be douchey by doing this.
I think it's a early GM mistake. And, you're the first time, at least, for me, your first time adventuring, DMing, whatever you want to call it, you're kind of lured in by the power, and it's very easy for you to be like, oh, well, I'm going to take this character and I'm going to give him something that, my other DM wouldn't.
Corrupted by the dark side.
So it's like, I think it's a beginner mistake. Like, there's no need for you to do it. If you have an NPC that's there for the story, that's one thing. But if it's you're literally having a player character that you've got created that's there for, I'm an adventurer. No,
I understand why people want to do this. They want to feel like they're a part of the game, with the players. But yet we have to understand you are part of the game. And it's...
You're the world.
You're the world. It's kind of really weird.
You're the children.
Because, you create challenges and adventures for the players to overcome. But if you are also one of the players, then you already know how to overcome it.
You know all the outcomes.
Yeah.
So there's no way to not metagame it because you know your own head and you know what you have planned. There's nothing to be uncovered there. There's no goddamn mystery.
You have to be able to etch a sketch half your brain and segment everything, and it's not going to work.
Partition.
And apart from that, I as a DM, I want my players involved in the actual role playing. And I had a situation come up in my last session where I set up a scenario where an NPC was supposed to talk to an NPC, and I'm like, the last thing I want to do is have a conversation with myself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how am I going to handle this encounter? And I had to really think about it. And I'm happy with what I did as a result.
Did you win?
It wasn't about winning.
It was about winning. It's always about winning.
So it was a situation where, like, I don't want to put a player in my game because I don't want to have a conversation with myself.
Yeah. That's best to be avoided.
Yeah, you're going to set up a ton of those situations if that's what you do, or what are you going to do? Your player character is going to be quiet whenever there's a character with an NPC. it does. I mean, maybe there's some people that really like to role play with themselves. But to me, it's always just weird.
You should always do that in private, just saying. Yeah, I mean, sure, if you want to give your players, like, a bandages option, like this pacifist cleric that just follows the group around and isn't very present when the fighting is happening and the danger, but is there to put the party back together after the encounters happen, fine, I guess do that. If like nobody went to play the cleric and you're worried about their survivability.
That brings me to another part of this topic. Is I don't even like putting NPCs in the party.
Yeah, I don't want
for any period of time.
I don't like running them. I don't like having to run them. So, I mean, on the other hand, too, you could give, like, a very minimalist NPC that you have your players run if you feel like that's absolutely necessary. Like, look, this is your problem now.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. So I guess this one's a real cut and dry for me.
Short and sweet. I
don't recommend it.
I'm all against it. If you out there are a DM that you do this, please put in the comments below what you feel is the advantage or why you do it. For a long time, we've all been just, absolutely no, we're against this.
Because it
feels control freakish.
The risk of having the Mary Sue character is so high. Like, the odds are.
I don't even think there's a risk. I think that you've just done it.
It's pretty much guaranteed. Yeah, like that's so.
Like if I'm going to put a character in the game, right? I'm going to do it old school 80s style, like the cartoon Dungeons and Dragons, and I'll just literally pop in as the dungeon master.
Yeah.
Let's remove all false pretenses here.
A little red hat.
Yeah. No, little red hat.
Oh, he was bald. He had like the mutton chop.
Yeah.
Long mutton chop.
So that's the only way I approve of putting your own character into the game.
Come in as Death, Fate, or totally go
Totally.
apeshit crazy. I am the Dungeon Master.
You have like a little pitchfork, like stab people, because this game is a game for Satanists, I believe.
Oh, is that what you think?
Something like that.
Well, if we go back to the 80s, that sounds about right.
You know, like I keep showing up for Dungeons and Dragons sessions, hoping that we summon Beelzebub, and it never happens.
Never
Not
happens.
once.
I can't
Not
believe
once.
it. You just haven't rolled high enough.
Yeah, I think you need like 666 crits or something
In a row.
in a row. In a row. Yeah.
And they have to happen in a on a pentagram with candles around it on the table.
Well, you know, at least with the candles, it's very romantic. Maybe you have some
Yeah.
jasmine spice or whatever, some aroma.
Maybe.
All right. Well, this has gotten way off base, so I'm gonna cut this here. Like I said, guys, if you want to continue the conversation, say you're for it, you're against it. Put it in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on nerdarchy.com.
While you're there, check out Nerdarchy the store.
So until next time, stay nerdy.